Hey guys, it's Trish back with another video. Today we're going to be making what I call my single double bracelet. This is going to be made with beads from the Whispers of Antiquity box, the treasure box from Potomac Beads. This was May's box. And this is something I've been wanting to show you guys for a while. You just need some beading wire, your tools, and you need some duo beads and then a single hole bead. And some crimps and a clasp. So I'm going to, first things first here, I'm going to pull out my clasp that I want to use. Just kind of find something that tickles my fancy in here. That'll work. That's a pretty one. So I have my clasp and then I have my soft legs. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pull out 2.5 lengths of what I'm going to need. So if I want to make myself a 7.5 inch bracelet, and so I'm going to pull out 15 inches plus 3 to 4 more inches. So just, you have to have enough so you can go in and out of the beads. So let's do 20 inches just for good measure. So we're going to cut that about 20 inches. And I'm going to take one of my crimps. I'm going to get some of my crimps out here. And I'm going to grab my crimp pliers. And the first thing we're going to do is bend this in half. Okay, so this is 20 inches of wire. I've got it bent in half. I am going to take both of my wires here, the ends. And, well, I'm going to feed on my clasp first. Let's feed my clasp on first. Okay. And then we'll take our crimp and put that on over both wires. Okay, this is a number 2 crimp tube that I'm using. Okay. And I'm just going to feed that over. And I want to keep my ends as even as possible as I'm doing that. Okay, so I'm just going to get these to the end, to my fingers, in my fingers here, and just hold them even. And then I'm folding that up, and my crimp has gone up to a perfect position actually, so I can go ahead and crimp that using my crimp pliers. Okay, so that is our start. So you can decide if you want to start with a single hole bead or a double hole bead. I'm going to set these others off to the side here. And let me get out my duos and cut my strand of fire polish. These are beautiful duos and beautiful fire polish. So this should be pretty. So these are in antique gold, the iris duo beads. And then we have these beautiful fire polish. Okay, then I'm just going to take off the strand. Alright, so we're going to start by taking one of our fire polish, and we're going to take both of our ends and put that through the hole in our fire polish. And those will both fit through there pretty good. You have to kind of push it and finagle it a little bit, but then push it the whole way up. So now we have one of our single holes on. And I mean, this is kind of self-explanatory, guys, but it's a really neat look. So then we're going to take one of our duos and we're going to put one of our strands through each hole and then pull that up. So you can see that wire there, which makes it really pretty. Then we're going to go again. We're going to put both of our strands together on the end. Put this through our fire polish. It's a little snug, but you'll get it. You'll get it. Let me grab a pair of pliers too. That'll make it a little easier. Sometimes you can just grab the ends and then pull, and it slides it right back up. Okay, so that's what we have so far. So next, we're going to add another one of our duos. You don't have to put any metal between this. You could put seed beads if you wanted to, just to jazz it up a little bit, but I'm showing you the very basic technique, so then you can kind of grow from there and decide you know, how you want to make it your own. So here we go with another duo. All right, as we're going here, kind of keeping everything straight. Okay, and fire polish. Pull that up. And a duo. And you can choose, as far as your beading string go, or the beading wire, I can talk today, goes, you can choose whatever color you like to accent your beads if you have that on hand. I think it just really gives it a different dimension when you're using colored wire with it. You can use silver or gold as well. I mean, that'll give it a pop. You can see that through the, in between the beads as well. Okay, so we're just gonna, we have a hole there that's not wanting to cooperate, so I'm gonna set that over to the side, and we'll try another one. That will be easily reamed out when I get a second. Okay, when I have time to do it. All right, so as we go. Okay. 2 strands, and you may get beads that you're really struggling to get the 2 strands through. Check beads are usually pretty consistently drilled, so you shouldn't have too much trouble with that. But say if you're using a glass bead or a Chinese crystal, you may have a little bit more of an effort that you have to put in to get them through some of the beads because they're not as consistently drilled. Okay, let's see, what color did I use there? Let's use another gold or copper. Go. And there's plenty of beads to do this with, because you can see you're getting length with each, with the wire as well as it's building. Okay, and we're just going to scooch that on. Pliers and pull that through. That seems to be the easiest way to get it to snug through. And we're making sure as we're doing this, guys, we're keeping this nice and straight, because you don't want your beads to go off to one side and then you're crimping it and it's not gonna lie straight for you. Okay, so let's see, let's do another duo. And this wire over here, and put that through. Work it down. And you can really just get going pretty quickly because it's a basic technique, but it looks, when you have the finished piece, because you have the exposed wire and the different outline of it, it looks like you've spent a lot more time on it than you did. So I'm going to measure this. It looks like we already have, with this one clasp, we have 5 inches. We have about a little less than 4 inches of beads. So we are getting there. Okay, and let's choose another duo. Let's put one of these pretty green ones in. Well, it has the green on the bottom, I guess, but still. All right, so what I'm doing is I'm checking to see, because I want the rounded side of these beads to be up. Okay, you can see how I have them here. There is a flat side to them, and that's the bottom. I prefer the rounded part on top. Sorry, I'm off camera, guys. There we go. So you can see how nice that looks with the rounded part up. Okay. Okay, and then again, we're just pulling through. Keep it all pull my stuff nice and straight and in order so it's not twisting. Okay. Ooh, there's a green top. That's a pretty one. I think that would be the only one we'd have in it. So I'm going to actually take that and use that for a different project. So we're kind of consistent with those colors we're using. So I think, oops, turn this over. And I'm looking to make sure that my wires are aligned correctly and that I can go ahead and put my bead in alignment. So I have that rounded part up to the top here. Okay. Alright, so we're pulling that on. Everybody's looking good. Make sure everybody's nice and straight. Good. And as I go, I keep double checking. I keep making sure that everything is on the same track. And it's not twisting and turning, that I didn't put a bead on backwards or, you know, something like that. It makes it a lot easier to do it as you're going along. All right, let's see. So now I have about 5 inches. So I'm going to give myself another inch of beads, because with my clasp and everything, a little over an inch maybe, then it'll be about the right size of a 7-inch wrist. Okay, that's the most common size that I make. Seems like those 7.5 inch bracelets go pretty quick. Okay. Okay. And just another single. And again, that was wanting to twist. When I pulled that on, see, I pulled one strand more than the other. And you want to catch that as you're doing it, because it's not going to look right in the end if you don't. All right, so let's put one more of these on and one more single. I think we should be good. Okay, that one's fighting me a little bit, so I'm going to just put that off to the side, because it should string through a single strand of beading wire, no problem. So, okay guys, so here we are at the end. Again, turn it over where we want it, make sure everything is looking good and straight, and just give it a little tug to make sure everything is laying nice. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put our other end of our clasp on the other side. And we're going to need a crimp. And we're going to feed this crimp with both wires through. Whoops. Can be a little tricky because they're so tiny. Okay, so once we get both of those wires through, we're going to go ahead and string on our clasp over one of those wires. And the wire that we string that onto, we're going to feed back through that crimp. Now with the number 2 tube crimp, 3 strands should go through it. Not going to say it's easy. This one went through quite easily, and that's not usually the case, but you can get 3 strands of beading wire, 49 strand beading wire through it. Okay, so again, just checking everything straight. So you see how I did that? So we have the strand that we strung our clasp onto, clasp end, goes back through. And then you're just going to give that a crimp. This prevents you from having to have multiple crimps on the end. I think it looks so much nicer if you can do it this way. And you can always put crimp covers on too. That really elevates a piece. And then I'm just going to bend that in half. Did I bend this one in half? No. Let's do that one too, because I like them to look nice and compact and finished. And then what you're going to do is just take some heavier duty pliers I like to use for this. And I'm going to take my pliers, and on this first string, I'm going to put my cutters, now I want pliers, cutters, and I'm going to pull on this strand and push on my pliers a bit. So I'm right up against that crimp. I'm putting pressure on it. So when I cut it, it'll cut right up to the crimp. Okay? So it'll look much nicer when you're finished. See? And then the same thing, we're going to do the exact same thing with this other one with our cutters. We're going to slide those in and pull and push and snap. Cut that baby. So that is our piece, guys. I mean, as simple as that was, it looks like a more elegant, time-consuming bracelet, in my opinion, anyway. And then once you get everything put together, you can get a beautiful looking, feminine bracelet. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.